Good morning, everyone. So I just thought I'd just do a video kind of showing you guys what's going on today. We have a lot going on. My plan today, I'm getting ready to go do the chores. Right now I have biscuits in the oven for Rusty, so I'm going to wait until those come out. I'm going to go feed the chickens, and then when I get back, I am going to be cutting up chicken, pork, and beef because I'm going to raw pack, can them, because it's just for us now at our age and everything. It just seems easier for us to digest the canned meat better than meat that we just cook in a hurry and it's kind of dry or tough or whatever. So we've decided that we really enjoy the canned meat, and it makes cooking so much easier for me. What do you do with it? Well, the chicken, I make a lot of chicken Alfredo, which is an easy meal that is easy for us to eat. We do chicken salad and things like that with it. And then our beef, we can take it and use it to make a quick stew for us, beef stew. We can make a beef gravy with it and pour it over noodles or rice, or even mashed potatoes are really good. The pork, we can do pretty much the same thing with the pork that we can do with the chicken or the beef. So that's my plan for today. And Rusty is helping our son. They're bringing, it looks like dirt, but it's actually got a lot of gravel in it. It's gravel that washed off of our dirt road up against our fence. And now our fence, instead of being 5 feet tall, is about 18 inches tall because this gravel just keeps rushing on there on both sides of the barbed wire fence. And over the years, it has caused the fence to be so short that the cows can pretty much step over it now. So they're bringing it up and putting it on our driveway. We talked to county, and county said, hey, if you can save us the labor of sending someone out there to take care of our gravel problem, then you guys can have the gravel. So that's what they're doing, getting free gravel today and putting it on the driveway, plating chug holes in places that it needs to be. And so Rusty's going to be helping. Let me check. Hang on, the biscuits may be done. And okay, I believe they are done. And these are not homemade biscuits. They would be, but I did one. There was a sale at the store a couple of weeks ago, and I bought a couple of cans of biscuits, and I just threw a can of these in there. So let me turn the stove off. Let me pull the biscuits out, and then pretty sure they're done. Yeah, they're done. So Rusty can come in and eat him a couple of, that's what he requested for breakfast, was biscuits and jelly. I offered to make him gravy. He said no, he would just like jelly this morning. I've canned a lot of homemade jellies recently, so I think he looks forward to that. So anyways, I'm getting my jars washed while I was waiting for the biscuits to cook, and getting my lids washed. And I'm going to go, now that my biscuits are out of the oven, I'm going to go let Rusty know the biscuits are ready, and I'm going to go get my chores done. Okay, I just came outside. I'm going to go grab a jacket, a rain jacket, because it is a little wet outside. It's not raining, but it's a real heavy mist. And I think while I'm in here, I'm going to turn my AC off because it's about 65 degrees outside. And I don't think we need to be wasting electricity today. So I'm going to turn the mini split off in here and save a little bit on the electric bill. My house is kind of dark. I don't have my lights on. I got to remember where I put my rain jacket. I didn't grab my rain jacket. I just grabbed a jacket to put on because it's kind of cold out here. So I want to see the babies this morning. Oh, you know what? I forgot to get their treats. Okay, now I have their treats. Okay. They always come over here when they hear my voice. They come running on this side. And I have to remind them they don't get fed on this side. See, here they all come. They're running over here. There's the truck and dump trailer. That's a dump trailer that we rented that they're using to bring gravel in. And Rusty's going to get on the tractor and level it out as they bring it in. Oh, the radio is really staticky this morning. Eating their little treats for the morning. And while they do that, I sneak into the barn and open their door. Because if I don't, they're all under my feet and I can't even move. See, I don't have nobody in here now except a few laying hens. Hi, girl. Hi, girl. Hi, girly. See, I open the vent doors every day, give them plenty of air. And we have a duck that's wanting to sit. She's a sitting little duck. She may actually hatch me some babies before it's all said and done. And then I'll get in here. This is how much feed. This is 5 gallons of feed. And they always have a little bit left every morning. And there's plenty on the ground too. Y'all, the garden is looking really sad because we are in almost mid-October now. I'm trying to salvage as much fruit as I can, fruit or veggies as I can at this point, so I can get the rest of these put in the freezer. I can take my tomatoes when they're a little yellowish orange like that, put them in the window, and in less than 24 hours they're good and red. So I'm doing that because I don't want to waste any of them if I can help it. There's my tomatoes I've got grabbed so far. But yeah, they're not liking they're not getting as much sun a day, because obviously I've even changed the timer on the door already because it gets dark. It gets light a lot later in the morning and it gets dark a lot earlier. Now this is my fall garden right here, and it's doing really good. But you got to remember, these plants are only about maybe 6 weeks old now, maybe not even that old. So they're starting to produce, and I haven't picked anything off of there yet. But see, my summer squash, and these things get watered every day. They look like I don't water them. They get watered every single day. But that's the difference between a squash that's meant to handle a little more cold, and one that it likes the spring and the hot summer, because it gets very hot here. And so yeah, they're just about gone. So oh, I see another tomato. Actually I see 2 more tomatoes on this side. But so the plants are they've just about run their course for the summer. And here's my my fall planting of some carrots. Not all of them came in, and I think I have something I noticed this morning that's eating the tops off. And there's nothing in this bed. Last time I saw that, I had little green worms in my bed, so I 7-dusted. I'm thinking this must be flying. It must be some kind of flying insect. So I'm probably going to get my 7-dust out and give them a sprinkle of that. My peppers over here are trying to produce the last little minute bell peppers, and that's the most pepper buds it's had on it all year. This one, I'm trying to let these get a little bigger before I pick them, but they're not very big. But I'll still pick them and freeze them. My Anaheims, they keep getting blooms on them, but they're not producing any kind of pepper. So I don't know if I can get that. There we go. See, it's got a bloom. It's just not producing. And then this is my cucumber, my summer cucumber. And I still have a couple of little cucumbers I was trying to get a little bigger, because my vines vine way out here on both sides of this planter. So, you know, it's really nice. You can plant in this and just get your vines, and they'll go all over and do really well. But yeah, it's about past its prime. That's my sage, and I'm going to be picking that pretty soon, clipping all that off pretty soon. I'm going to dry it out. I've already got some for us for Thanksgiving, but I might put it in some tiny little bags and maybe sell some or give some away. And then this is our fall cucumber, and it's doing really well too. It's got blooms all over it, and I'm sure we'll probably come out here in the next few days and it'll have some tiny little cucumbers on it too. And I'm going to, Rusty brought me some hay over there. I'm going to be putting hay on top of most of my, well, not the whole garden obviously, but the stuff that was planted for fall, like the carrots, the cucumbers, and the new squash. I will probably be packing hay on top of them, not on top of the actual plant, but on the dirt on the plants, and try to keep them warm enough so that they'll produce maybe for a month or two for me. I don't know. I've never done a fall garden. This is my first time, but I don't want them to get too cold. In Oklahoma, we usually don't have our first frost until usually Halloween night. And right now, today is the 7th of October, so I have about 3 weeks right now. So I should get some veggies at that point, and probably in 2 more weeks I'm going to be planting our garlic, and it won't be ready until spring, but you want to plant it right about the time you get your first frost, and because you don't want the plants to start growing, you just want them in the ground doing their thing. And then again, I'll put hay on top of those two to keep them warm enough over the winter. Okay, I think we're done with our chores, guys. I've about got all the watering done. I went ahead and watered. I know it's probably beating a dead horse, but went ahead and did my watering on the garden, on everything. And now we're going to go in and get ready to start canning. These ones that are really green, they fell off the plant, so Rusty just brought them in. That's why there's a few that are really green. But a lot of these were like this one right here, and now they look like that since yesterday. Pretty cool. That's another thing. Another thing today that we might be doing is freezing some more tomatoes. I don't have a whole lot, but I need to get them froze before they go bad, so we might be doing that today too. So I'm just taking, this is meat that was raised here on the farm. This is from my son's Longhorns, and I'm cutting them in about 1-inch chunks. This one is a round steak. I think it's more of a roast, because I think it said round steak, but it's more of a roast because it's pretty thick. But round steak is just generally you got to cook it all day, or it's tough, and then when you cook it all day, it's dry. So especially these Longhorns, the Longhorns have very, very little fat on them, so there's not much to, unless you add fat back to it, and I don't like to do that. So it's kind of hard for us to eat it though. And honestly, I just don't want foods that I have to cook all day long. So I'm just kind of cutting this one off this bone now, because the bone runs 2 different directions here. And what I may have to do is take the rest of this, and I can boil it and make some beef broth, and then take the rest of the meat, and I can do something for dinner tonight with it if I want to, or I could put it in the freezer cooked and do something with it later. So that's probably what I'll have to do with this, since I'm having issues cutting it away from the bone. The rest of the meat I have out of the freezer is all boneless. I usually don't grab bone meat, but this was a big old chunk, and I knew I wouldn't be able to cook it tender enough for Rusty's throat. For those of you who don't know us real well, Rusty's in remission with stage 4 throat cancer. So he's had so much radiation on his throat that he has a lot of just natural swelling and tissue buildup. So we have to be careful what he eats so he can swallow it okay. Grabbing some bowls and start putting my different meats in. And remember, we're canning, we're going to be canning beef. I don't know how many jars. I've only had 19 pint jars, and Rusty and I can in the pint, because a pint jar will get you about a pound of uncooked meat, and which is plenty for us. So, and then this was a ribeye that was in there, so this will really be good. Oh, and it's got a bone in it too. Okay, I must have left bones in all the meat. I haven't made too much of this beef that our son gave us because, like I said, Rusty's I don't care for steak anyways, and he's not been able to swallow it very well, so I just haven't cooked this. And it's not old, it's only been in the freezer for probably 3 months, but I thought, you know, if we can't cook it and eat it like it is, then we'll put it in, we'll can it, and then we'll be able to use it that way. Take the little bit of fat off. I try to can as little fat as possible. So you can tell this is tender. And I don't know if I told you guys, but I do like to cut my meat slightly frozen. It's just easier to cut. It's not as hard to cut. So this is a little bit frozen. That's why I'm cutting it first, because I want it to finish thawing before I put it in the jars. And then my chicken we just bought yesterday, and our pork we just bought yesterday. So they're in the refrigerator. There's some more bones I'll put them boil off. So we just put them in the refrigerator last night. So they're not going to be frozen, so they will be harder for me to cut. And this rest of the night, hey, guess what?
What?
Okay, the duck that was sitting outside, the last couple of nights I've gone out there, she has been inside the hen house, and last night the door was closed and she was the only one in there, and of course kind of freaking out because the rest of the ducks weren't in there. This morning I went in there, she's decided now it's time to sit. She's sitting on the nest inside the hen house. Aren't you? We may end up with baby ducks this fall before it's over with. So I was like, oh, I gotta tell Rusty his nesting boxes are working. So Rusty put some nesting boxes. I don't know if he told y'all about that yet or not. He put some nesting boxes in the chicken house, because we've had a duck that she'll let all the ducks lay in this nest, and then she goes and sits on them all day. Well, then at night I have to pull her off. You know, we have to pull her off of that nest because this one may be too frozen to cut. We have to pull her off that nest at night because we don't want her outside getting ate by, because one night one of them was sitting on a nest and we didn't realize it, and we weren't counting them at the time. We count every night now to make sure we have 11 ducks, but we weren't counting at that time, and we missed her, and the next morning she was gone, never to be found again. So something got in there and got her. So we're not about to risk our duck for some eggs. So Rusty built him a nesting box inside the hen house, so if she really wants to sit, she can sit on the box inside the hen house all day, the way that our broody hens are doing. And it's working, because this morning I went out there and she was laying on that nest and had no interest in getting up and moving, even with me. The ducks are more skittish than the chickens, but even with me in there, she didn't care. She's sitting, and that's what she wants to do. So we're excited. We didn't want any baby ducks, but you know, if she wants to be a mama that bad, we're going to let her be a mama. Hopefully the babies will survive the chickens. I don't know how that'll go. Or more than likely, we may just take the babies away from her, and then we'll just put them in the brooder pen, and we'll raise them out in the brooder pen.
And I don't know how, but the heat lamp out there, I noticed it's broke.
It's broke. How did they do?
The bulb's busted out of the socket.
Oh.
Now the glass part.
Yeah.
Breaks out of the metal part.
Didn't we have two heating lamps, though? We had one in here, but the other one I think is in the garage, because that's where we start the brooding, is in the garage, and then we move them out there. So we'll just have to buy another heat lamp, because we need both of them. We need one for the garage and one for outside. So, but for now, if she does hatch, and we can just take this one in here and move it outside and put the baby ducks.
Maybe.
Do you know how they'll lay and lay and lay, and they don't sit when they're laying. They don't start sitting until they're ready to, until they've decided they've got enough babies. My bowl's not big enough.
Maybe what, 28 on ducks?
Yeah, I think it's 28 days for ducks. So we probably need right, but I think she's been sitting on that nest for at least 2 days, but maybe at least 1 day. Because I know she was in there last night, and she was really upset because nobody else was in there with her when the door closed. So she got off the nest last night, so I didn't realize she was sitting on a nest. Because she got off walking over to the door with the rest of the ducks. So, okay. Rusty came in to eat those biscuits, but he's been out working all morning. He came in to grab something to eat. I was talking to our YouTube family. He came in, though, while they went to go get another load. He came in to grab him a couple of biscuits. And they've already snuck back up here on him. I'm just dry packing these in my jars. And what I thought I had in meat this morning, I went and put one steak back up because I only have 19 jars today. And so I really don't want to can more than I can't can more than 19 because I don't have enough jars. But I was thinking I would need 3 cans for meat with this meat that I had set out. And I ended up putting one steak back, and it looks like I'm going to get 4 cans of meat. So it's going further. And I may have already told you guys this, but I can in the pint jars for me and Rusty because when you put the raw meat in there, this holds about a pound. You know, I could weigh this and tell you guys how much on the beef that it weighs. Hang on. But I'm guessing I'm putting about a pound of raw meat, which is what we generally cook for a meal, is about 1 pound. I'm going to set an empty jar and zero this off. And then put this jar on here. And, okay, it's about 12 ounces, so it's a little less than a pound. And I might put stuff a little more. Let me see what this one weighs. Yep, they're coming out to about 12 ounces. So I'm putting 12 ounces of raw meat, and that's probably going to give us, since this is very, very low fat, it's probably going to give us about 9 or 10 ounces of meat, which I don't eat a lot of meat, and Rusty does. So but most of this stuff, we just use it and pour it over potatoes, rice, noodles, that kind of thing. And it looks like I have a little extra meat, so I'm going to be throwing some of this in a couple of these other jars. So I ended up getting 4, just the beef. And that's after I got rid of one of the steaks. We're leaving a 1-inch-ish, I'll say ish, but we're leaving a 1-inch headspace on this. And we're not going to be putting any salt, pepper. I'm not putting any seasonings whatsoever because I want to know that when I take it out of the cabinet, I can still use my normal seasonings in it and not have to worry about it being over-seasoned. And I'm not packing any fluids in these. They will just be straight. It'll just be straight meat and the natural juices that it will make, and it will fill up the jar, making natural juices in the canner. Okay, I'm rinsing all my stuff off so I can start now with I think what I'm going to start with next, I'm going to go ahead and do the pork next because I'd like to get a couple. I think I'm only going to get 2, maybe 3 cans of the pork, and I'll show you the pork I bought and why I bought it. And then whatever jars I have left, I will do with chicken because I can throw the other chicken packages back in the freezer until I go buy some more jars. So I think that's what I'll do. And I have a couple of jars of chicken already in my cabinet over there. Okay, guys, I am a huge Kroger shopper. And for the last few weeks, they've had these on sale for like $5. They're just little pork tenderloins. And we really love them. This one is seasoned brown sugar and bacon. That was the one that was on sale this week. Sometimes they'll have lemon and garlic, I think, or garlic herbs, something like that. These are really good. Problem is, by the time you cook them, they're so dry, they're hard for Rusty to eat. So I thought, what can I do with those and a way to cook them? And so what I've decided, I'm going to can these. I'm not going to be putting this juice back in there. If you notice, it has a lot of juice in there. Because you really want, I could put a little bit of it in there. You just, because you want to dry pack them. Yeah. But it's still flavored because it's been marinating in this for Lord only knows how long it's been marinating. So anyways, I'm going to chunk these up, and I might get 3 jars out of this. Let's see how much these weigh. Oh yeah, these are 1 pound, 2 ounces. So I'll probably get 3 jars. And well, that includes the juice. 2 or 3 jars out of the pork. And then I think this will be good to heat up and put over rice and have a nice, comfort kind of meal with that. Okay, so I'm going to go and get started on this one next. I just put, show you guys. I just put that, poured it in a bowl like that with the juice. So we'll kind of see what we're going to do with it. Plus, you never want to put a thick juice in your canning jars because the heat will be uneven and can cause the jar to go bad. So this is kind of thick, so I probably won't be adding it back because I don't want that thick. I'm cutting the fat off. I don't want that thick in there. That's why I don't can my beef with like a beef gravy or anything, because you can't put anything thick in your canning jars. It can be dangerous. Okay, and like I said, I'm not going to be using the juices that came in that package, but there are so many good seasonings on this, so it's really I think going to be really good when you take it out of the can. Ooh, make you some brown gravy and pour this over some noodles this winter. I think it'll be really good. So I am just about done cutting all my fat off, and I just noticed, you can see the pepper, you can big old chunks of garlic on this. In fact, I'm going to take these little chunky garlics and throw them back in here because I can use those in there. And then, but I'm not going to use the juice. I just think the juice is already too thick. It's more like a gravy, and I don't want to take a chance of it going bad. So we're not going to use the juice. Okay, let me go wash my hands and clean this mess up, and then I will be right back, and we'll get these in the jars. Okay, I might have 3 jars. I'm thinking I probably don't have 3 jars though. So let me get some jars in here. For this one, get this one started. Where did my funnel? Okay, I'm going to start pouring this. Oh, that was a piece of fat that got in here. I'm going to start packing this in here. So this, rest of this, may get cooked for dinner tonight. Also, dinner on canning day is going to be anything that maybe possibly didn't seal up during the canning process. So if it doesn't vacuum seal, then it will get used for dinner. And if you don't want it for dinner tonight, either you can put it in a Ziploc bag and you can freeze it, pour it into a bag and freeze it, or just leave it in the jar and put it in your refrigerator and use it tomorrow night. It'll be fine. Okay, and I may put this in this little bit of pork I have left. I think I might put it in a Ziploc bag and label it, put it in my freezer, and then the next time I can pork again, I'll have that to set out with it. Okay, so I started the chicken, guys, and I cut up. Okay, let me show you what I have. Okay, I do a lot of shopping with Kroger's. I really like Kroger's. They have some pretty good sales, and I get a lot of free stuff too. So if you don't have Kroger's yet, they're not sponsoring me by any means. They should, but they're not. And but anyways, Kroger had these 3-pound. They were guaranteed 3 pounds, and the way they do it, they can't weigh your meat before and to tell you how much it is. But so they just tell you 3 times the cost on them, and then send them, guarantee you at least 3 pounds. My last package was 3.5. This one is 3.35. Another one I have in here is 3.31. And then I have a 3.06, so it's barely 3 pounds. But they had it buy one, get one free. So I bought 4 packages of these 3 pounds. So I have 12 pounds of meat. And I just did the first package, and it filled up 3 jars exactly, which would be about a pound. So I went ahead and I put this on my scales, and it is coming out to like 15.75 ounces, which is 1 pound of chicken. So the chicken, you're getting a little more than you are with the beef in the jar. So anyways, but I got exactly 3 jars of chicken from that 3 pounds of meat. So if you're wondering how much meat you need, just kind of figure it up. You're going to get about a pound in each jar. And that's what I was thinking. I mostly just have done chicken. And so I was thinking I was getting about a pound of raw, which is going to be a little less than that. Now, I did also cut a bunch of skin and fat off of that other chicken also. So now I'm going to get the next pack. So let me see if I'm even going to have enough jars today to even do all 4 packages of chicken. I'm going to look and see, because I know now it'll take about 3 jars per package, which is what, 12 jars? I know that I have that many. I have 2, 5 over there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 jars and I have 3 packages. Oh, that's, yeah, I should have just the right amount of jars. So that's good. I don't have to put any of this back in the freezer. But see, it's kind of got some fat and stuff, so I've been cutting the skin and fat off of it. Because again, I never can that if I can help it. And and I don't feed this to my dogs. If I did, I would cook it first. And I could cook that down and give it to my dogs. It would actually be very good for them. So I might do that. I might cook that down and give it to the puppy dogs. Of course, I have one standing over here waiting for his share. He thinks he needs it now, but he's not going to get it raw. And he knows that. Can't blame a dog for trying. So, but I just wanted to let you guys know that's about, you're going to get about a pound in a pint jar. So a quart, you're probably going to be able to get 2 pounds of chicken in there. Maybe a little bit more. Sometimes when you go bigger, you can get a little bit more. But you're probably going to get average about 2 pounds per quart and a pound per pint. That's only on the chicken, though. The beef, when I weighed it out, I've never weighed them before. I just know by how much meat I buy and how much fit in the jar as to how much, I was able to get in there. But yeah, it seems like the beef, you're going to get about 12 ounces. And I did not weigh the pork. Actually, I could do that right now. Let me grab a pork real quick and see what the pork comes out to. I'm guessing it's going to be about the same as the beef. I need to subtract about 9. Yep, this is the same as the chicken. I've got about 15.5 ounces in this pork jar. So the pork is going to give you about the same as the chicken. The beef did not. And I've got them stuffed in there pretty tight. So I don't know why. Maybe beef weighs less. I don't know. If you guys know the reasoning for that, you can let me know in the comments. But I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm coming up with. I'm pretty sure I don't have air pockets in my beef either. No, they're packed pretty tight. So, I don't know. They only hold about 12 ounces. And the chicken and the pork is holding about a pound. So, kind of, if you're going to can the chicken and or the pork, figure that you're going to need about a pound per quart jar or pint jar, and you're going to need about 2 pounds if you want to do the quart jars. Okay, so that should get you pretty close without having a lot of waste. And then you can kind of figure out how many jars. If you're wanting to do, quart jars, and you want to do 6 pounds, you're going to need 3 quart jars for that. And if you want to do 3 pounds in pint jars, then you're going to need about 6 other pint jars. This is all gross. Okay, and I will probably cook that because he's really begging over here, and not really begging. He's just staring and watching, hoping that I either drop something or that I'm nice and will throw him something. So I use this because then I don't have to worry about being real careful and not getting any of the meat grease on the jars. So, see, and I'm just stuffing it in there as far as I can stuff them, because they're going to cook down a little bit and they're going to have water in there whenever they're done. They'll have their own juices. Okay guys, so I've got all the jars, and the 12 pounds of chicken, I cut quite a bit off because I just don't like any of the extra nasties in there, you know, the skin and stuff. I don't like that. So I'm going to boil this up, and this will be, I'll make some dog food with it for my dogs. And I ended up getting 11 pints out of my 12, probably closer to 13 pounds, because they did give me more in each package. So around 13 pounds of chicken. By the time I cut everything off, I ended up, and if you notice, there's nothing in there really that you wouldn't want in there. And I stuffed them as full as I could stuff them. They weigh about a pound of raw meat in each one of these. So next I'm going to get my clean washed lids, put on all these jars. I'm going to get the rings on them, and before I do this part, I'm going to go ahead and get my pressure canner started. It's right here. I'm going to get it started with some boiling water, get some water boiling in it, and then we're going to get it loaded, and 75 minutes for the pints. Sorry about my hand. Okay, 75 minutes for the pints, okay? So we'll be right back. Okay, and the amount of water I'm putting is just to, I'm just going to put enough water to just cover the first 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of the bottom of the first layer of jars. How many did I end up with? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, you can only get 14 pints in here, even if I double stack them, I think. If I can double stack and get them all in one pressure, I'm going to do that. I have a, let me show you guys. I bought a package of these, and I just put this on top of the first layer and then stack a second layer. With the pints, you can do that. Quarts, you will, there might be a pressure cooker that you could double stack quarts. I don't know, not that I've ever seen, but I'm not going to say there's not. So I'm getting the lids on this, and then I'm going to get some water in there, and we'll get this going. Okay, it looks like I will be able to I got 9 on the first layer, and I think I said I had 17, so I will definitely be able to get all of mine in here. So I'm putting my little tray thing in the middle, and I'll stack another set right on top of it. And if I only had like 14 jars, I'd probably do like maybe 8 on the bottom and 6 on the top, something like that. So just kind of even it out a little bit. I like more jars on the bottom because it just helps keep it all balanced. But yeah, just kind of even it out the best you can. But since I have 17 jars, I'll be putting 9 on the bottom, which is what would fit on the bottom, and then I'm putting 8 on the top. And when I put these in the pressure canner, I stagger them, you know, top, bottom, so that way the thing in there doesn't like try to flip over or anything on me. Okay. Okay, we've got our lid on here. I've got my jigger right here, but it won't go on yet. This right here, let me show you guys, in case you don't know. Most of you probably already know this. But this right here will have some steam coming out of it in just a little bit. When it gets hot enough, it'll start steaming. And I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes, let the steam come out for 10 minutes. Then I will put my Jigga on it and get it up to, where I live, 11 pounds of pressure. But you guys, it's really important that you look up where you live. If you're in Colorado, even in Denver, but especially in the higher mountains, your pressure is going to be different. If you're sitting down on the coast, right next to the ocean somewhere, your pressure is going to be different. For where I live, 11 pounds of pressure, and so I will build this up to 11 pounds of pressure. As soon as I put my jiggler on, I will be turning my burner down from a 6, which is a medium high for my stove, down to a 4, which is a medium for my stove. And then it'll stay there for 75 full minutes. And then we will let it cool naturally, because don't ever pull the jigger off or you'll blow everything up, I believe. That's what I've heard. I've not done it. But you're going to just let it naturally cool until this pressure comes all the way down. Let me show you guys. Okay, you're going to let it cool down until this pressure comes down to 0. But more importantly than that, there is, let me see if I can get it back here where y'all can see it. This little thing right here, it's down right now, but as soon as I put the jigger on, it's going to come up, telling me that it's built pressure up inside. Do not take the lid off until that goes all the way down, okay? It's just really important if you've never canned before. And if you canned before, you already know that. So that I was able to take the lid off. And always pull the lid off so that you're letting the steam go away from you, because the steam will burn your face. I've done it before, not thinking. And sometimes I still do it, or I'll start to do it, and I'll catch, whoa, I almost dropped that one. Or I'll catch myself. So just be sure and pay attention when you're taking that lid off. Think for a second and remember to lift it so that the steam is not going into your face. That's my tip of the day, because it hurts when it burns your whole face. Okay, this is jar number 17 we're pulling out. So now these are going to sit on my counter until probably tomorrow. And tomorrow, I'll know late in here in a little bit. Right now they're still boiling, and that's normal. Tomorrow though, I will remove the... Okay, Rusty's going to have me take over now. So tomorrow I'll take the rings off because I'll store these without the rings. Tonight I'll know which ones probably aren't going to pop, if any. And if any don't pop, that's what we'll have for dinner tonight. So there's the pork, and it looks redder because it had those seasonings in it, remember? That one was pre-seasoned. It was the only one I had. And then all the chicken is just normal. And I forgot to put my vinegar. You guys put a couple of tablespoons of vinegar in your water, and your jars won't cloud over, but I'll wash them off and that'll go away. It comes right off. And then there's the beef right there. But yeah, they're all pretty much full of water, and they're going to store great. So we'll wait for these until they cool. They won't pop. And here in a little bit, it'll sound like a musical orchestra in here, because they'll all start popping about the same time, and then we'll get them put away. Okay, I'm going to take you guys out and let you see what Rusty's been up to, and then we're going to finish this video because I have a feeling it's going to be really, really long. I wanted to show you guys this. I found someone online who said to take your old chicken parts like this and just bake them until they're hard in the oven, and that they make really good little doggy treats. So they're a little greasy, but I'll just clean the grease off of them. And I may even rinse them off a little bit. I'll probably just use a towel maybe. But anyways, I've never done this before, but it was real simple. I just put a piece of parchment paper, you could use aluminum foil, whatever, and just scattered them on the thing. And they've been in the oven on 400 degrees for about an hour and a half. And I almost burnt them because, to be honest, I totally forgot about them. So we're going to see how the puppy dogs like that. Something crunchy for them to enjoy. He's eating one of the chickens I did. Trying to see if he likes it. It might be a little bit warm. It may be. Yeah, he seems to like it. Lobo likes it. Let's see if Lexi liked it. Lexi, you going to eat your candy? You don't want your candy? I'm not sure she likes it. It might be too warm. She does not like warm food at all. I mean, it's not hot, but it might be. She just doesn't like her food warm at all. So she may be waiting for it to cool off. Okay, so Rusty took the dump trailer and went to town and bought a load. It's 3 yards of gravel because we wanted to kind of gravel this grassy area right here. So he'll come out and be spreading this in a little bit. And it looks like they've got 2 more mounds right up there to spread. And it looks like we're putting dirt on top of our gravel. And kind of they are, but that's the way it was when they had to pull it away from the fence. It has a lot of, it's about half dirt and half gravel. So it should make the driveway a little smoother though. The driveway had some big chunky rocks on it because we had to build this driveway brand new for the shop. So I had big chunky rocks, because if you just put this little rock down first, you lose it in no time at all. And so he's put this on top of it, so it's much smoother now. And eventually the dirt will sift underneath that rock. That's the hopes and the plans. So, but yeah, so we got some more gravel from town, and we just didn't want to put the dirt gravel on our driveway because we don't want it to be muddy when we get in and out of the car. We wanted it straight gravel, so Rusty opted to pay. It cost $200. This is 3 yards of gravel that he just went and picked up, because we didn't need a whole semi load of it. So that's what Rusty's been doing today. And our Halloween chicken, we love him. Anyways, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone for watching, if you made it this far, and we really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Sweet Hollow Farm Life. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, so I told you I'd show you a real quick meal. I'm browning some butter in my pan. I have homemade chicken gravy mix I'm going to be putting in here. In fact, I'll do that right now. See if I can do it while I'm holding the phone. I'm doing a double batch, so I need about 4 tablespoons. But I also just kind of gauge it. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to hold the phone and see what I'm doing at the same time. Yeah, I'm going to do 1 more spoon, which will make my 4. It's about a tablespoon of butter to 2 tablespoons of the mix. And what I'm going to do, you guys, is so simple. I'm going to just make some chicken gravy. I'm going to pour a can of chicken into the gravy, and we're going to make some mashed potatoes and put that over the mashed potatoes, and then we'll make a side of broccoli to go with this, and that'll be dinner tonight for us. Calls for about 2 cups of water, and I put that in and forgot that I was also going to add this broth in there too. And this is why you want to use wide mouth jars, and I didn't have any wide mouth jars, so I canned in the regular mouth jars, but I'm just poking my spoon down there to loosen this chicken up so I can get it out. There we go. Sorry about that. So see, we've got chunk chicken in our gravy, and this will thicken. This will thicken up, and this is going to be so good just poured over mashed potatoes for a quick, simple dinner. And it's actually one of Rusty's favorites, so he'll be happy to see this on the table tonight. Now, I didn't salt the chicken, but because I'm using my homemade chicken gravy, it really doesn't taste like it needs any salt, so I'm not going to add any more salt to this. If it needs a little bit of salt, there'll be salt in the potatoes. And so if it needs a little salt, we can add a little table salt to it, but I'm not going to salt it anymore. So it's thickening up now. And see, we've got nice big chunks of real tender chicken. In fact, I'm breaking some of the bigger chunks up. So I don't want to break them up too much because Rusty likes his chicken chunky. So looks really good, huh? Almost done. And when I do this with beef tips, I'll do the same exact thing. I'll make some beef gravy, and I have that pre-made too. And I like to add some fried mushrooms and onions to the beef. It's so good with the fried mushrooms and onions. So, you know, you could dress it up any way you want to. Okay, now it's thick enough. We'll be putting that on our potatoes. Broccoli, I always microwave that for about 10 minutes. And we're just almost ready to eat. I've got the potatoes heating up, and we'll be ready to eat. This literally took me less than 10 minutes to put all this together. It took 10 minutes for that to cook. It took 10 minutes for this to cook, and I got the potatoes heating. So I've got this burner turned off now. So yeah, so that's dinner. How easy is that, guys? Try use some canned anything, canned chicken, beef, pork, whatever it is that you like, venison. You can do anything with the canning. So I've heard people even can fish. I've not tried that. Probably won't ever try that. I'm not that crazy about fish, and I don't really know what I would do with it, but we like chicken, so there you go. Try you some. Thanks again for watching.